Hey folks, Philly Boy J here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make apple pie. This apple pie recipe is absolutely delicious, and we're going to be making it from scratch. This is homemade apple pie, alright? What you're going to do first is you're going to combine your ingredients to make your pie crust. You're going to get a big mixing bowl. To the mixing bowl, you're going to add your all-purpose flour, your sugar, and your salt. Now, when making pie crust, most people stop there. But me, you know, I do everything a little different. I'm creative. I want my pie crust to have some flavor. So I'm going to add just a hint of cinnamon and nutmeg, and then I'm going to whisk all of these ingredients together until they're evenly distributed and well blended. To this flour mixture, we're going to add frozen chopped up pieces of butter or margarine. You can use either one. And you're going to mash the butter or margarine, the fat, you're going to mash it into the flour mixture. And you can do this with your hands, like I do sometimes, like I did in my pie video. Or you can use a cooking utensil, like a potato masher, and mash it into the flour mixture until you're left with a big bowl of different size crumbs. You're going to create a center in the middle. And to that center, you're going to add a small amount of liquid. You can use milk or water. I'm using milk. You're going to bring the crumbs into the liquid. Press firmly. And you're going to press until you form a big ball of dough. I add a small amount of liquid first, then I add more. So you're going to add more milk or water. And that should be enough to bind all of the flour mixture together. It's not going to stick by itself, so when it starts sticking like that, you got to take your hands and press it together. Just press it together, press it in so that it sticks. It's not going to stick by itself. All right, so you can do that in the bowl or you can do it on a surface. All right, so that's our big ball dough. We're going to be placing this in the refrigerator with some plastic wrap, and we're going to allow it to sit for 2 hours. But what you're going to do first is you're going to slice it in half. One half is going to be slightly bigger than the other. Not significantly bigger, slightly bigger than the other. The bottom half is going to be the big ball of dough, and for the top layer of crust, that's going to be the smaller ball of dough. The bottom of your pan requires more crust than the top layer. So that's why the big ball of dough is going to be for the bottom layer of crust. What we're going to do now is we're going to focus on our filling. You're going to get a pot. You are not going to place it over any heat. To the pot, you're going to add your apple juice followed by your water. Then you're going to add your cornstarch, which is going to serve as our thickening agent. That's going to turn this apple juice mixture into a nice thick gel, like in a pastry. For all of the exact measurements, cooking time, detailed instructions, visit my website at PhillyJCooking.com. You will find this recipe in the dessert section. All right, stir that all in. You're going to add your sugar. Then you're going to cut your fire on high heat. You're going to add your cinnamon and your nutmeg, a small amount of nutmeg, and some salt. Yes, salt. I know a lot of you may think I'm crazy, but yes, we're going to be adding salt because salt enhances the flavor. My real chefs and cooks out there understand that. All right. So we're going to let this bubble up. It's over high heat, and it's going to become nice and thick and turn into a nice thick gel. All right. That's the way you want it to look. See that? It's nice and thick. Okay, so stir that in. What you're going to add to this, once it's done, is you're going to add 3 more ingredients. You're going to add your butter. Now, that's butter and lemon juice. I added the lemon juice to the butter, put it in the microwave, melted it. And now I'm adding that to the filling. And now I'm going to also add my vanilla. Okay, and you're gonna stir all in, and look at that nice thick filling. Absolutely delicious. Now we're not gonna be using all that filling. Always make more filling than needed, because I save some of the filling for the next time that I make apple pie. All right, you're going to need 7 grain apples. 7 grain apples. And you're going to peel the skin off of the apples. You're going to cut your apples and you're going to slice it around the center where the seeds are. So slice it down 4 times around the center, turn it on the flat side, and you're going to slice it into thin pieces. You don't want your apples to be really big and chunky. You don't want to bite into really chunky apple pie. All right. So slice them down like that. You want to be rather thin. Not super thin, but relatively thin. Okay. You can even slice some in half. I slice some in half like that, and I leave some whole. Okay. Now you're going to add that to the filling. So add your apples to the filling. We're not going to let them sit long because they'll turn in color. And you're going to scoop the filling over the apple and let those apples saturate in that filling. Guys, this recipe is really delicious. You ain't never seen nobody make no apple pie like this. They just don't do it like this. Y'all know I had to put my own spin on apple pie. Y'all know I do everything differently. Most people don't make it like this, but you know, that's why this is the world's best. I said the best apple pie in the whole wide world. Okay, so you're going to place some flour on a surface. You're going to get your big ball of dough for the bottom layer of crust. You want to punch it. You're going to coat your rolling pin with some flour as well. The reason why we're going to coat the dough with flour is because the dough might be a little moist and you want to kind of like dry it out a bit. That'll make it easier to roll so that the rolling pin don't stick to it. So just coat it with flour. Coat the rolling pin with flour. And then we're going to roll this out. And make sure that you roll it out so that it can fit into the pan. All right, so roll it all the way out like that. You don't want it to be extremely thin, but just enough to fill out the pan and come above the edges. So you want to add the flour and press it out. Press it out like that. Okay. That's good right there. And I'm going to show you a easy way to lift the dough into the pan like that. Just roll it around the rolling pin like that there. And you want to dust some of that flour off. I didn't dust that much off, but just get like a brush, or you can just do it with your hand. Just dust some of that flour off. You don't want all that flour to go into the pan with that. It's not going to hurt it, but you don't want to have that flour taste on your pie crust. All right, so press it in to the pan. Make sure you fill out the sides. Bring it over the edges. Press it down into the creases. And then you're going to remove that excess dough on the ends. And if there's any holes that you may see by any chance, just take the excess dough and just fill it into the holes. And you want it to look just like that there. All right. You're going to do the same thing to your top layer of crust. Just roll it out. We're going to add our apples now. At this point, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So our oven can be nice and hot when we add this to it. Okay. So you're going to add your apples and some of the filling. You're not going to use all of that filling. It's just way too much. Okay. You want to add your top layer of dough. You're going to press the sides down, and you're going to remove that excess dough. All right. Then you're going to take a fork and you're going to seal the ends, just like we did with our pie-pies. Seal the ends. And some people like to coat the top of their pie crust with egg wash, but I like to use some of the filling. You're also going to poke a lot of holes into the top of the pie crust as well, so that the heat can get inside of the pie, all right, to dry out some of that moisture that the apples cause and form. Apples produce a lot of water when they're cooking. Okay, get the aluminum foil and cover the end so it don't burn. And look at that, guys. Absolutely delicious. I like how the crust on the top breaks up and those holes form, them big holes form. Now we're gonna plate this apple pie. Look at that apple. Look at that apple pie, guys. Some of the best apple pie that you are going to see on YouTube. It is truly the best, guys. I stand by it. This apple pie recipe would rival any apple pie recipe out there. May not be the best, but it is pretty damn close. It is really, really good. You guys are going to love this recipe. I mastered it. It's my recipe. I tried it over and over and over again until I perfected it. And man, everybody just falls out. The pie crust is nice and flaky, and you can taste the cinnamon and the nutmeg. Man, it's just the apple juice from the filling that we created just enhances that apple flavor. It's just it's I don't know what to say, guys. You're gonna love it. The pie crust is absolutely moist and tender and flaky. Hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Philly Boy J. Peace.